In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the surface area and volume of spheres. So first of all, our surface area formula is 4 times pi times the radius squared. And this is radius squared because surface area is two-dimensional. This is not three-dimensional, so we've got our two dimensions. And our formula for volume is 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. And this one is cubed because it's a three-dimensional. Okay, and this is squared because it's 2D, right? Surface area is 2D, volume is 3D. All right, what does this look like? So this is what a sphere is, right? It's round. It has a center, which is in the direct center of the sphere, and a radius. So this radius is 2 square root of 3. We want to find the surface area, and we want to find the volume. So our surface area formula, remember, is 4 times pi times radius squared. So, excuse me, surface area, maybe this should be equals 4 pi times 2 square root of 3 squared. And this is the quantity squared, so you need to make sure that you square the 2 and square the square root of 3. I know I've talked about this before, but let's just make sure we're doing that. So this is 4 pi times 4 times 3. Okay, so that is going to be 48 pi units squared because this is two dimensions. So that is like the entire outside of this sphere. I maybe, to think about this, think about like the Earth's crust. So just like the top few miles, however thick the crust is. I'm a math teacher, I don't actually know, but whatever, however thick the crust is, it covers the outside of the Earth, right, which is a sphere. So it's kind of like our surface area. It's not all the stuff on the inside. So like on the Earth, that would be like the core and stuff like that. It's just the outside. Okay, so for our volume, should be volume equals volume formula, 4/3 pi r cubed. All right. So we'll have 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. Now when we cube something, remember it's we're multiplying that thing by itself 3 times. And so if we cube 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. But let's come over here, 2 square root of 3 times 2 square root of 3 times 2 square root of 3. Let's just remind ourselves how this works. So all the 2's, 2, 2, 2, that's 8. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is just 3, right? And then we've got 1 left. So times the square root of 3. So this ends up being 24 square root of 3. I guess I already put that 8 down here. So we'll just go, let's take a step back and write in here 24 square root of 3. Okay, and that's coming from right there. All right. And moving on, 4 times 24, well, it might be easier to divide 24 by 3, looking at this bottom piece right here. And so we would get 4 times 8, which is 32 pi square root of 3. And see how I easily did that without a calculator. And this is units cubed, volume is three-dimensional. Okay, let's look at another example. This one, our diameter is 12 square root of 2. And you might recall here, if I put these formulas up, that none of our formulas have diameter, they only have radius. So we need to find the radius. Volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, radius is 6 square root of 2. Diameter divided by 2 to get the radius. Okay, and don't forget to change these over to the radius if it's giving you the diameter. All right, surface area. 4 pi radius squared. 4 pi times 36 times 2. All right, so I might need to do some quick math with this. 36 times 2 is 72 times 4. 72 times 4, 288 pi units squared is our surface area. And volume, 4/3 pi times our radius cubed, 6 squared of 2 cubed. Okay. 6 cubed is 192. Oh, I got my eraser. Okay, so times 192 times, remember that last one? We wrote these out, square root of 2, square root of 2, square root of 2. Remember what happens is that these two multiply just to 2, and then we're left with a square root of 2 right there. So times 2 square root of 2. And let's see if we can break anything up here. So I believe 192 is divisible by 3. And 3 goes into 192 64 times. So we've got 4 pi times, well, that would be 64 times 2 is 128. Square root of 2. And then 128 times 4 is 512. So we end up with 512 pi square root of 2 units cubed, because this is our volume. So you definitely are going to want a calculator to do some of these, unless you do them by hand. Okay. Our last one, radius, is 7/4. That's right there. Let's start with surface area. 4 pi radius squared. Okay, remember we square a fraction, we got to square the top and square the bottom. So this is going to be 4 pi times 49 over 16. Okay, that 4 cancels with the 4 there. So we end up with 49 over 4 pi units squared. There's our surface area. And volume, 4/3 pi radius cubed. Okay, now I'm going to stop right here really quick and say that I'm going to write this a little bit differently. I'm going to write it like this, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so is this the exact same as the one before? Well, yes, because 7/4 right here times 7/4 squared is the same as 7/4 cubed, okay? But I'm doing this because I can cancel a 4. That means I don't have to multiply and then divide again. I can't, like 3 and 7 don't cancel at all. And so these just multiply or divide to 1. So I end up with 7/3 pi times, well, we already squared this as 49. Whoops. 49 over 16, and I suppose we should probably multiply all our fractions together, so 49 times 7. Some of you may know this off the top of your head, but I do not. I believe that's 343. That sounds right, 7 cubed, 343. And 16 times 3. Maybe I should know this one too, but I don't off the top of my head. It's going to be over 48. Nothing's going to cancel here. Don't forget the pi. This is units cubed. Don't forget that either. And that is how we find the volume and surface area of the sphere.